and he could jump in at any moment, which is very scary. And the person that was in the car with him don't know where she is. We believe it's a female and a male. And there's some people, it looks like, in the courtyard there.
Okay, if you're just joining us for the KTLA 5 News at 1, Glenn Walker here with Jessica Holmes. What you're looking at is a live view of some apartment building in South Los Angeles.
I'm not sure. I haven't seen
Two pursuit suspects have been on the run since they allegedly pulled off a burglary in San Bernardino County. We're not exactly sure where that happened, but we've seen this these two in the car. It was a silver Lexus. They were up the 105 freeway when we picked this up. They then got on the Harbor Freeway, heading toward Los Angeles. Exited the freeway, headed up Broadway, zigzagging through streets, driving around the SC campus and around the LA Coliseum. We're getting reports that one of the suspects, who was a female suspect, she is still in the car, but the driver, the male driver, ran out of the vehicle, talking on his cell phone, wearing a white T-shirt and jeans, and now he is somewhere in that apartment complex you see right there. So I'm sure that officers are moving in here pretty quick.
So now authorities have to split their time and figure out who follows one and who follows the other. One's on foot, one is believed to be still in the car.
It's believed the woman may have taken off, and she is now run out of the car. But again, it looks like the male suspect is holed up somewhere in that apartment building you were looking at right there. The female suspect also on the run in the neighborhood, but probably in another direction. She actually sat in the car when he took off.
I'm watching some units.
And again, we're talking high rates of speed, not just on the freeway, but also surface streets around South Los Angeles.
Yeah, I mean, incredibly dangerous going through those neighborhoods. We had some really near misses a few times with people just crossing the street, and you can see CHP probably headed either to the location where the guy is at the apartment complex, or maybe on the trail of the female that was in the car.
Yeah, this is definitely, they look like they were in a desperate situation in speeds of excess of 100 miles an hour on the freeway, and even on the surface streets, they're going pretty fast. Almost hit several pedestrians, including a little girl when they were making a turn in an intersection.
And
her mom jerked her back on the sidewalk just in the nick of time. And officers, we see these black and white units are now all headed toward the area. Again, the suspects going in different directions. The man taking off first, talking on a cell phone and reaching into a pocket where he possibly had a weapon. We did hear they were armed and dangerous after pulling off a burglary. And the female suspect sitting in the car for a couple of moments, and then she decided to finally take off and run. And now we see there
appears to be the vehicle.
Back at the car. That is the vehicle. As you see, it's a light blue Lexus. And a high-performance car that was, I'm telling you, I've seen cars flying down the freeway, but this guy was really booking it.
My goodness, yeah, passing everybody. And it all started as a burglary. Was it in the San Bernardino area, or that's where the couple originated from?
Somewhere in San Bernardino County is where the burglary was pulled off, and we understand now that the female suspect has now been apprehended. There you see her being arrested right there. She is the female suspect. There was also a male suspect, and again, he is holed up somewhere in that apartment building, and I think it's just going to be a matter of time as you see her now being hauled away, where she'll be put in the back of one of those black and white units.
Yeah, so I'm sure they were going to refocus and find where this guy is, and they know that he most likely is still in that apartment building. Whether or not they knew someone in this neighborhood, they turned right onto this small little street, and maybe it's someone they know is in the building, maybe not. No rhyme or reason possibly, but we do know we've got one suspect in handcuffs, the other still on the loose at this moment.
Okay, we're getting some more information. They were suspects in a residential armed robbery. We assume that took place this morning, and they're also the suspects in several other armed robberies. So if the charges stick and this proves to be true, you're getting a couple of dangerous characters off the streets today, eventually. At least they've got one of them. Now they're just looking for the male suspect. Again, he's holed up inside that apartment building. You see the female suspect. She is now in the back seat of the sheriff's car with her hands handcuffed behind her. So she's taken care of. Now it's just a matter of time. And you figure he probably knew somebody in that apartment building the way he was talking on his cell phone. If not, you know, he may be running into some apartment building where you've got a lot of innocent people that don't know anything about this. And judging by the way he was driving, this is a desperate situation, and that certainly can create some problems.
It really can. And I know there was a moment where it seemed authorities were backing off because of the dangerous driving, but I don't think they were too far behind, because it seems they caught up pretty quickly with these suspects. But again, that's that debate that they, I'm sure, have whether or not to follow and pursue people when they're driving so dangerously.
Well, there you see the apartment building where we last saw the suspect running into. And, you know, I got to tell you, at this point, I don't really see any officers around there, which is kind of surprising. But then you see it's a pretty good sized complex. You know, judging how close this is to USC, this could very well be some student housing. Yeah,
it could. And I wonder if authorities have a helicopter in the sky, because a lot of times
Mark said there was a law enforcement helicopter from one of the agencies that was nearby, and they were watching closely. And we can't see a whole lot right now, but you can bet that what they probably are doing right now is they've cordoned off a wide area.
Yeah.
And what they will do is they will start what they call a grid search. They will go door to door, and they will check under every bush. It'll be slow and it'll be methodical, but eventually they will catch up with the suspect.
And the last we saw him were between those two trees there, right in the center of your screen, kind of ducked under there, and that was the last. Whether that was a hallway or someone's balcony, a little hard to tell, but that was the last place we saw the suspect.
And we see people walking, you know, on the sidewalk there, and it's almost as if they don't know what's going on. You know, we got some gentleman there talking to them through the gate. Somebody pointing in a direction like maybe he's over there. I don't know. But it's going to be interesting to see how this one plays out. Again, the female suspect in this case, she has been apprehended. When the male suspect took off running, she sat in the car for a couple of more minutes, and then she finally decided to take off. Probably got about 2 or 3 blocks, and they apprehended her. She is under arrest, and now the search is on for her male accomplice. Let's bring Mark Kono back in. Mark, that was the last place we saw the suspect, the male suspect, but we don't see any police officers around there. What's going on?
Yeah, just an amazing, amazing set of circumstances here, Glenn and Jessica here. You saw it right here. The suspect, the driver of that Lexus, getting out of the vehicle. He was wearing a blue jeans, a white T-shirt, on the phone. It looked like he had a bald head, and he was just kind of making his way westbound on the south side of this apartment complex, kind of along the grass there, and he just kind of disappeared right where those 2 trees are. Now, we don't have any confirmation that he is still there. While we were looking at the suspect there, the driver, the passenger, the female, jumped back into the car and went and took police further on a pursuit here. So she got about a mile away, several blocks, over towards the intersection of Western and a little bit south of here, where she was apprehended on our air just a couple of minutes ago. Now we have made our way back to the initial point of stoppage where the driver got out of the vehicle. Now we don't have any ground units that we can see on the ground, correct as you say there, Glenn, but again, this is where the pursuit terminated here initially, and up until just a couple of minutes ago we did have an LA County Sheriff's ship overhead, and we don't see that anymore right now. He may be at the secondary location here, but this is the location. We're basically about a block west of Vermont and a block south of King, right near the campus of USC. We're about a block to the south and west of USC. And so, again, no ground units here. We don't know if they've, you know, in other words, given up on this search, or maybe they know who he is, or maybe they know who he is based on the apprehension of his partner, the girl, at the secondary location. But yeah, this is where we last saw him. Again, he was on the phone, kind of walking across the lawn westbound, and he disappeared right in front of that apartment complex, right near those 2 trees.
Okay.
Guys?
All right, Mark Kono in Sky 5 again. Police searching for this burglary suspect from San Bernardino County in South LA. His female accomplice has already been apprehended. You're watching the KTLA 5 News at 1. We're going to take a break, and we'll be right back. We're going to get back to our breaking news. We're going to take you back to that apartment building in South LA where a San Bernardino County burglary suspect is holed up after ditching his Lexus after a pursuit. Let's go up to Mark Kono in Sky 5. Mark.
Yeah, that's right, Glenn. Last you saw us here, there were no units on scene as of yet, aside from the LA County Sheriff's Department airship above. Now there are several units of the LAPD's Southwest and Newton Division officers here on scene of this condo, or this apartment complex here. This is basically the 1000 block of 38th Street here. It's just about 1 block to the west of Vermont and just south of Exposition here. Now we have several officers on the ground. There is an active search. Oh, here we go, here we go. Someone may be on the run here and over the fence. Hang on just a second here. We're going to maneuver around. It looks like that suspect may be on the run, and only now so. And it looks like if that is the suspect, he has certainly changed his clothes here. He has got a hat on right now and some dark clothes. We're going to try and make our way around, and he is now on the ground. He is proned out. Officers of the LAPD taking this guy into custody. Now, when we last saw this guy, Glenn and Jessica, he was just exiting that light blue Lexus. If I remember right, he was wearing blue jeans, a white t-shirt, he was bald, and he was on the phone walking westbound through this apartment complex. Now it appears that he has changed clothes, and now we just caught him as he was being pursued on foot by the LAPD, and it looks like they have just now taken this guy into custody. Hopefully there is going to be a process of confirmation to make sure that this is the suspect, but based on his actions, it certainly seems like this may be our guy. Glenn, Jessica?
Well, he's wearing a dark shirt now and also a baseball cap, but he looks like he has the exact same build of the guy we saw running earlier. So that's, as a matter of fact, this is the same guy right here, and as you see, he's wearing white sneakers. So he probably has the same pair of jeans on, so probably he changed from a white t-shirt to a black t-shirt and put on that baseball cap when he decided to make the run again.
And so we just caught up with them at the moment they were chasing him over the fence, if that is indeed him. And then it looks like he went one way and didn't realize, so was law enforcement coming that way as well.
Okay, and once again, this suspect and his female accomplice, they were in a pursuit from San Bernardino County, driving at high rates of speed, more than 100 miles per hour on the freeways, and then got on off of surface streets in South Los Angeles, driving around both sides of the Harbor Freeway before ditching the Lexus they were driving in, almost hitting a couple of pedestrians. The woman stayed in the car for a couple of minutes. The male suspect, who we showed in that video a couple of minutes ago, took off running into that apartment building, talking on his cell phone, likely with a weapon in his back pocket. The female suspect sat there for a couple of minutes, and then she finally took off. She was quickly apprehended within just a couple of minutes, and it looks like now that this pursuit is completely wrapped up here. Both suspects in custody, both handcuffed, and both now on their way to jail.
Yeah, it appears that it's all been wrapped up this afternoon, and they got the guys they needed to, and no one hurt in the process, which could have gone a different way, as we were watching earlier. It was quite dangerous.
Yeah, several pedestrians almost getting clipped, including that little girl at that one intersection. Her mom pulled her back just in the nick of time. All right, Mark Kona, thank you very much. We're going to take another break.
Be right back.